What if the thoughts and opinions that you have about your grandparents and your actual parents are out of context? I say this because I've heard a lot of adult children speak poorly about their actual parents and kind of place their grandparents on a pedestal. Maybe because your grandparents raised you and your parents were absent or didn't show up in the way you needed or wanted them to, or maybe you just spent a lot of time with your grandparents and your parents were working or doing whatever and didn't quite spend the quality time with you that you needed and deserved. Regardless of what the circumstances were or currently are, I want to encourage you to give real thought and consideration to what it is I'm about to say. Could it be that you are currently receiving a completely different version of your grandparents than the version of them that raised your parents? Your grandparents have had 20 plus years of hands-on experience with raising however many children that they've had. Plus, they've had additional years, maybe even decades, to self-reflect on their parenting journey, to give real thought and consideration to the things that they did well as the areas where they could have or should have done things differently. Your parents are likely still in the process and the stage of actually raising you as a child, and they haven't had the ability to get to the stage where they can self-reflect and examine the areas where they could have and should have done things differently. I also speak from experience. As a young child, I spent a lot of time with my mom's parents, a lot of time. And as an adult, I've learned some things about my mom's parents that I had no idea ever happened. I received a completely different version of my grandparents than the version of my grandparents that raised my mother and her siblings. Does that make them bad people? No. But that additional context matters a lot when you start forming hard opinions, critical judgments. The missing context, it really, really matters. So I want to encourage you to give real thought and consideration to what it is that I'm saying and what missing context is necessary to make sense of the differences between your grandparents and your actual parents.